Hey guys, human again, and today I have Adrian, also known as Riplungs of Team NeverSpark with me. Adrian, introduce yourself, please.
Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Adrian, also known as riplungs, and I'm got 12th place Top Cunt event on Saturday with Minerva Toolbox, and Sunday Court TCG's regional with 27th place.
Yeah, Adrian here showing outstanding results with 12th on Saturday, followed by 27th on Sunday. And we don't normally see Minerva or Merva on the top placements of these events recently, especially after the banners and with decks like beelzemon and Crossart really taking over. So props to you for showing results 2 days in a row. So Adrian will be going through his deck that he took with him, and we will ask him questions along the way of why he decided to take this deck as well. So, so what do we have here? Starting with your deck list.
Awesome. All right, let's just get right into it. So this is like I said, Minerva Purple Toolbox, and we'll start off with the eggs first. So for Demi Marimon, the best egg just to have for this deck, and we only use four just because we want that consistency. We don't really need a fifth egg.
Just like every other purple deck.
Yeah, pretty much outside of like Beelzemon.
Yeah.
And then for the rookies, we play 12 rookies. We'll start off with the Floodgates, two Psychmon, and two Gazimon. Just really good cards for the bad matchups. It helps slow down those aggro decks. And I just feels like if you're gonna run a purple deck, you have to at least run one of each one.
Mm. So I've seen lists you that have these floodgates. Um, People are not valuing Psychmon as much as Gazimon. However, we see a lot of cross art. Is that why you're doing two and two, or do you have a preference of which one you like more?
Pretty much just like how you said it. It's really good into those decks. And if the deck space was more flexible, I would definitely do 3-3. I think just because of how the deck itself is and the way purple is, how we need time to set up. These cards are crucial just to help in those matchups, slow them down a little bit.
Mm.
And then we have the generic four Gabumon, the best rookie to open up with, just to get that draw two and trash one. And then to finish it off, we have four Ignitemon. This card needs to be ran at four. There were so many times in the two events to where I probably went through 20 to 30 cards and I still hadn't seen an Ignitemon. I tried testing three just to fit in another Psychmon or Gazi, but I felt four was the best way to go.
I see. Yeah, I've seen many deck lists run three. I myself was also on three for a very long time. Probably still on three myself right now. But I can see the reasoning for four. For decks like these, consistency is key.
Yeah. So 12 rookies. I wish there was more space to add maybe another Psychmon or Gazi, but I think 12 was a good fit. And then for the level fours, the best level four to have in purple for Icemon, and then including the one, well, four Icemon scatter mode and one Icemon.
Yeah, gotta run those.
Yeah, best thing to open up with the Gabu. And then we run four Dark Lizardmons. That's just our retaliation package, and it's such a strong card, way better than Soulmon, the plus 2k that get retaliation. This card is just such a help to the deck, having that extra draw one, discard one, level four.
Mm. Yeah, like a lot of deck lists I've seen. Even the 13th place on Saturday, he was playing three to my knowledge. He was on three Dark Lizards, and I see you're on four. But what's your thought on three versus four here? For Dark Lizards specifically.
So I tested three for a very long time. I was switching between that slot, but I realized in matchups against Grandis or Melga, any fast deck, you really want to be able to have that blocker when you're gonna do your Mervamon play, and that might be turn three or four where they're already trying to go for game. So just with Ignitemon, I felt like having four was just the most consistent way I was gonna see it if it ever came down to that scenario.
Mm.
And then to finish off the four, which was the slot I was actually messing around with the fourth Dark Lizard, is one blocker Devimon. I had two of these and then three Dark Lizard, and I was going back and forth. But I just ended up deciding that I wanted to see this card more just for the opening play to draw on this card, and then the one cost blocker just because it's the best level four you can go into when you're already gonna set up your level five play.
Mm.
And that's it for the level fours. I believe it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 level fours. And then for the level fives, we have the Wolf package, 3 Cerberusmon and 3 Cerberusmon Wolf mode.
Three and
Pretty
three.
generic. Yeah, pretty generic 3 and 3. I love 4 and 4, but with the deck being so tight, 3 and 3 felt pretty good.
Yeah, it's very tight. The space. You want a lot of other cards in the deck, of course, and just three because you're drawing so much, you're discarding so much. You have to plan ahead. Like, what do you prefer? Like, when you're planning ahead, are you planning for seeing the Cerberus, or are you planning to see the werewolf? How do you look into that? Like, how do you plan your turns if you don't already have it in your hand?
So that's a very good question because there's many times where you're drawing and discarding, and you really need to think ahead of what pieces you don't need. And I think what makes the decision easier is because we're playing this card, the one of Dead or Alive. So Dead or Alive pretty much counts as a 4 Cerberusmon. So I think you're okay with discarding this card early in the game, planning ahead that I can discard him. Worst case scenario, I can draw into a Dead or Alive if I don't have this in my hand. And you always want to keep these in your hand,
All right.
the Cerberusmon. And yeah, the one of Dead or Alive, just because it plays as a 4 Cerberus, we can't, since the space is so tight and not being able to play a fourth one, this card is just so good. Also, combos well with other cards that we run in our deck that we'll get into.
All right.
And then to round off the level 5, two very spicy tech choices. One is Lucemon, which is pretty common to see in these decks because we're playing the Dead or Alive.
Yep.
And one Chimeramon. Chimeramon actually got this idea originally from you when you first started playing it in back in the day with Swart. That's like when you first did it, I was like, man, this guy's crazy. And then now I see how much value this card has given me. It won me so many games this past weekend, also mainly because of the surprise factor. But this card is just so good, mainly because we're able to bring out level fours and just go into him because of that.
Yeah, just it's an extra swing. It's an extra, possibly even a swing for a game because you're swinging a level four at security, level four security. They might not get deleted, and then if you're able to do it, that's an extra swing for you.
Yeah, extra swing and like one of the best case scenarios too. You're down a turn. You have just enough memory to like Jack Raid go to 3, evil your force into Chimeramon, maybe pop a floodgate, and then go into Minerva. That tempo is extremely good.
Nice.
That's 8 level fives, and then for the level sixes, 3 Minervamon with 3 Mervamon, the card that made this card so much better. Uh, I guess the main thing is it comes down to how come we're not running 4-4 or 4-3. In testing, there were many times where I didn't see either of these cards, or like if I didn't see Minervamon, didn't have the Merva, or vice versa. But again, with the deck space and how tight it is, 3 and 3 was the best I could fit in.
Yeah. So since those are your only level sixes, we've seen many people use Creepymon or Lilithmon. What's your opinion on those two, and why you're not playing those two?
So with Lilithmon, I did test Lilithmon out in the beginning, and I did like her, but then I realized in many games where having Lilith for like an early, if you draw bad or you don't really have an Icemon and you just need to evo up into your 5 to not pass too much memory, And then having Lilith, it just didn't feel good. Lilith is really important just for the end game, and with how fast the meta is, it just didn't feel right to have her in the deck. And then for Creepermon, personally, the card had just never worked for me. I know you are a huge fan of it, and other players as well, and I can see why because you play the Lucemon, you play the Wolves, and there's so much recursion with that card. But just me personally, I just it just wasn't for me. I never could use it in a good way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, the efficiency means all the difference, especially in purple decks in general.
Yeah, but those cards are very good like side choices. If someone wanted to like throw in either of those cards, it can definitely work. And then we do run another level 6, but it's not a level 6 that we go into. It's one Nidhoggmon. This card is so clutch. It won me a couple games as well. Just being able to have that gain memory surprise factor, and it's pretty much another way, a fifth. It's pretty much a fifth Jack Raid. I love this card, and I wish I could run two.
Yeah, I love it myself too. Okay? Just having it in your hand, just it doesn't even have to be your turn. It could be your opponent's turn. You're attacking over your Digimon with an on deletion effect or with a Demimera. That's a +1 memory, forcing a past turn possibly.
Yeah, I had so many people tell me, "Wow, I needed that one memory." So it's a really good card, really good card. And then for one level 7, since we're running purple, the one Defexmon. Pretty self-explanatory why we run it into this meta with Cross, beelzemon, any swarm decks.
Yeah, don't
Very
forget
strong
about
card.
Bloom. Bloom is
Yeah,
so
Bloom
scary.
also. Yeah, so this card just helps us deal with those whiteboards. And it's really cool that we're able to Evo into it for a 6 cost. So that comes up as well.
For sure.
And then for the options, we'll go through our, I guess, our self-destruct package, just because we need cards that are able to pop our Minervamon to use her effect. We run one Deathclaw, two Pandemonium Flames, and one Calling.
Uh-oh, camera's going,
Oh,
being weird.
what the heck?
Alright.
Not sure why that did that. Let me try. What the heck? Oh, that's weird. Never does that.
Alright, we're back. Technical difficulties, no big deal.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, you're okay, you're okay.
Okay.
We are okay here.
Okay.
Issue
sorry
resolved.
Discord.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So self-destruct package, two Pandemonium Flames, one Deathclaw, and one Calling from Darkness.
So, I have a question here regarding your Death Claws and Pandemonium Flame. What is your preference on why is 1-2 and not 2-1 or possibly even 2-2?
So I guess the main thing is the fact that the Pandemonium Flame can get rid of bigger bodies. So for example, it came up against my ulforce matches when they would pass turn into their level 6. I was able to raise Minervamon, use Pandemonium Flame, pop their ulforce, they would evade, and then I could bring out a retaliation through
Yeah.
Merva and then swing it. I
Yeah.
think that's just the main reason. But believe it or not, I have been wanting to add another self-destruction card, but again, deck space. So if I could, I would definitely want to run another Deathclaw. But I think the 2-1 is as best as we could get.
Yeah. Yeah. And one other self-destruction card that we may have seen is Revive from the Darkness. What are your thoughts
Oh
on
yeah.
that card in the deck?
So I think that card is where you would have to, I guess, base the whole deck around having that card. Doing like 4 of that card with the 4/4 wolves. For this deck, I did test it at 1, but there were a couple times to where I was able to do it, but I didn't really have a follow-up. So it's
Mm,
broken when you can, do it 2 or 3 times in one turn, but just doing it that one time, it didn't really help in a lot of matchups.
yeah, for sure.
And then my favorite card in purple, War Jack Raid.
Now, my favorite card
War
too.
Waiting for the alt art. Waiting, hopefully we get it. But yeah, for Jack Raid, This card is just such a strong card into the late game. Also a very good security bomb. And I was testing between 3 and 4, but I just felt like 4 is just what you need to help that deck speed up against certain matchups that have, for example, Cool Boy or Waste of Game Memory as well.
Yeah. I always tried to do this. Like, no, I can't do this. It has to be 4. I have to see it.
Yeah, and there was again a couple times where it not won me games, but well, helped me win games where hitting that insecurity and passing over turn was just so it was just so awesome to see. Jack Raid save me a couple times.
Yeah, that's great.
And then to finish off the deck, which is my second favorite card in the deck, Analog Youth, such a strong card, and probably this is the best deck that can utilize this card, maybe outside of like Ancient Gray, but
Mm-hmm.
this card is just so good. I tested 4 and I loved it at 4, but I actually ended up cutting the fourth one, putting in that 12th rookie. So, and then I guess mulligans also helped me when I made that choice because being able to mulligan, it made sense that I could cut one analog.
Yeah, you'll see it. You'll definitely see it, especially with a mulligan. So, or what I value more? Do I value my analog more, or maybe 12 rookie? So, going back to your rookie just now that you mentioned, right? There's one other rookie that we've seen in a lot of Minerva base decks, the Retaliation Demi Devi.
Yes, so that card is a card that I tested as well, and I love the idea of having that extra rookie that has retaliation, just in general, another retaliation target. But when I came down into doing my ratios, I realized, you know what? If I'm gonna have another retaliation target, I think it's more optimal to have that fourth Dark Lizardmon. So that also came into factoring why I ran the fourth Dark Lizard because it was another retaliation target.
That makes a lot of sense on why that fourth one was there and not possibly even Demi Devi, or it could be something else. But let's think about going back to Saturday and Sunday, right?
Mhm.
What were your matchups? What were your most memorable matchups? Like, what did you end up losing to?
So on Saturday, I ended up losing. I believe it was round 7, and I lost to Blue Flare, which
Oh,
is I honestly think it's a 50-50 matchup. I was able to beat a Blue Flare early on in the day, but and this matchup was actually on stream as well. I was a feature match, and I just didn't see any cards. I didn't see any cards, so unfortunately I lost that one. And then on the last round, round 9, I lost to ulforce. It was on game 2, and I can honestly say that I lost that game because I misplayed. So I totally blame that game on myself. But thankfully, I was able to squeeze in and get a 12th place finish. And
yep.
then on Sunday, I lost to Metagururumon. Uh, most definitely the hardest matchup against this deck. And I lost to Blue Hybrid. Another random matchup that I did not expect to see brought me back to DigiFest days, and just that matchup is just hard, a really hard matchup, just because you swing in, give them tamers, and then they just swarm you pretty quick.
Yep.
But
So,
mhm,
so the takeaway from that just now, just listening to it, don't go against blue.
yeah, blue is your worst enemy. It's not unbeatable. It's not unbeatable, but it's definitely like your tough matchup, the blue color.
For sure, for sure. Um, Now, since you played two regionals in it already, Saturday and Sunday already, two large events, 18 rounds. Uh, are there any changes that you may look forward to, or possibly even do to maybe make a bad matchup better, but end up making a good matchup worse, or vice versa, etc.?
Yeah, so I guess going back to the last question about how my matches were, um, how I lost to blue, but then all the decks that I did beat were cross decks, very good matchup. Was able to beat Machiendramon, which Machiendramon was is a bad matchup for a lot of decks. We were able to beat that matchup because of how the deck is, and we're able to swarm. And then also beating Black Will Greymon, since they can't stop your memory plays, which is very strong. For the bad matchups, I guess for blue, there's not really much that we can do other than maybe. being faster. So if I could change a card or want to change a card, it would be definitely messing around with the one cost level 4 just to speed up when we're evoing up into our Minerva quick, because were a lot of times where I would evo for 2 into my level 4 and pass turn.
Mm,
And having that one cost really does help. And then just maybe having another analog. Um, Analog is just such a strong card, searches your pieces for you, and you're able to pretty much restart when you're having a bad level 5. And you know what? Your level 5 can get destroyed, and you wouldn't mind because you just restart.
yeah.
Other than that, maybe a third Psychmon Gazi, just depending on the meta, what the meta's at.
Mm. Have you thought about the purple mat tamer, the memory setter, or possibly even the promote package?
So the promote package, I like it a lot because outside of the Devimon, the second best level 4 to go into would probably be King Kakumon, just because you can destroy floodgates.
Yes.
But I think the main reason why is just because of the retaliation aspect and having that blocker retaliation is why I chose just to have that over the promote package. But if you're going for a more aggro approach, the promote package is definitely a way to go, just because you can gain two memory off promote coming out, and yeah, that's pretty much why I would go that route.
Okay. So I will now pull up the deck list on the dev. This way, our viewers can see the entire deck from start to finish. Your egg, your rookie, your low 4, 5, 6s, options. They're all in view here if anyone wants to take a look at it. If you want to make your own changes, go right ahead. Let us know like what kind of changes you made and how well you do with it yourself. Now, final question. Do you have any shoutouts that you want to give?
Yeah, so I definitely want to shout out my team NeverSpark for supporting me and helping me practice for this event. Shout out my locals, Brownsville, Texas, B&D Hobby Games, and to all my testing buddies, my friend Bink. And then shout out to you and Thomas, actually, for keeping Purple alive, and always inspiring me to also keep on using the deck and to making sure that it can compete with the meta. And other than that, just shout out everyone who I played this weekend. Shout out Bandai. It was such an awesome tournament. Everyone who I played was awesome. And thank you for also doing the deck profile. That's very much appreciated. And I hope people test out the deck, because I think purple is a really fun color. And I wish more people played it.
Yeah, I say this all the time, especially with my locals. Every single deck, it doesn't matter what deck it is, every single deck is capable of winning, whether it's competitive or not. The most important thing is whether you enjoy playing the deck or not. And I can tell you enjoy playing purple a lot.
Yeah, such a fun color, and hopefully into BT12, I can, or we can still somehow make this deck compete.
Yes. So let's look forward to PT12. But we all know Beelzemon is king at the moment. I myself gonna be playing it too.
Yeah, and Hunters too. Hunters is a deck that also seems pretty fun. That I consider purple as well.
Pretty much is that purple egg. So purple, right?
Yep, you're right.
You're right. All right, but thank you for joining me here. And I hope you guys enjoy the deck list and hope to see you in future tournaments and performing as well.
Thank you. Later, guys.
Bye bye.